Hey, so if you came over from my short, thanks. Hopefully you subscribe, but let's continue this conversation. I'm not one for pulling punches. What I'm about to say is harsh, but it comes from a good place. I'm not going to coddle you, and I want you to strengthen your resolve so that next time adversity pops its head, you can take it head on. I know you're likely kicking yourself and wallowing without direction, and I get it. I know it's cliche to say, but everybody's blowing up their account at some point, including me, including you now. Welcome to the club. Let me tell you something that might come as a shock to you. None of this is new. It's been happening throughout history for a very long time, and it keeps going around the same story over and over again. And it always sounds something like this. You hear from a friend of a friend, or you see an advertisement talking about a project that's going to yield you unrealistic returns better than whatever's cool at the time. The salesperson tells you everything you want to hear, from achieving financial stability to financial freedom to riches beyond your wildest dreams. When they convince you, you put in a little bit just to see how it goes, and then after a cycle, the money grows, and you think to yourself, wow, if I just had more money in there, this would leverage up to a point where I would be making XYZ and I could quit my job and so forth. And you end up dumping your entire life savings in that thing. The end result's always the same. You end up losing all your money. The only things that really change in the story are the name of the product, pretty much. The developers stay the same, and some even leverage a previously failed project, hoping that you don't remember to promote it. And the salespeople, I would argue, are basically your modern day influencers nowadays. So that's the general framework on how I would describe the problem. So, what can you do about this? Firstly, learn your history. Even if it means to catalog this event that you were part of as part of that history, and it'll be painful, I know, but it'll fade with time. What shouldn't fade with time and what you shouldn't allow to fade with time is what you learn from this. The mechanics that you have seen, the actions that they've gone through, so you know what to watch for in the future. Secondly, do the research and be objective. Analysis paralysis, overanalyzing, FUD, these terms get tossed around a lot by these influencers to kind of like stop you from actually doing any research. And what happens too often is that the influencer themselves don't actually do any real research, or if they do, they simply ignore the risk portion and only tell you the stuff that you want to hear. They either simply do not care or are simply too ignorant to understand whatever they're pitching, and you usually end up with like someone who's an authority figure who makes claims based not on facts or results, but because they seem authoritative and familiar, and that's why they get pushed up to prominence. Either way, they don't really care, because either they get paid by the developers through you through the project, or through you again, because they're trying to farm for sympathy money. One really easy way I'm able to tell that someone's actually done a lot of research into the subject is that they're able to not only tell me the flaws that I could potentially find, but other flaws that I'm not even looking at. Thirdly, this is an old man's argument. I mean no offense by this to you younger generation, but you have to start respecting your money. That starts with proper risk management. And you can't keep treating it as entertainment or gambling money, especially if you don't have very much to start with. I've been around long enough to see people smash their keyboards, punch their monitors, and it seems all funny and entertaining at first, but when you actually see what happens afterwards, that's where you see the heavy costs as a result of the gambling happens, from them losing their job because of that outburst. They just lost their entire life savings. They lost their homes. Divorces happen. There might be one single parent, or maybe they both even ditch out all their kids. People become addicts. And some people actually pay the ultimate price, and that's something that I don't like seeing. I know I lack the on-screen charisma and probably the rapport to get through to you, and maybe nothing I said applies to you, and you're one of the few lucky ones that got out unscathed. But if you weren't, and you want to continue working in this field, I think it best to start reassessing the risk. Don't forget about this event. Reassess it. See what went wrong and how to avoid it for the next time. But that's all I have to say. And just remember, just because you're a day trader doesn't mean you have to trade every single day.